You know that person, right? The one who never seems to jump on the bandwagon? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unlock the fascinating psychology of people who resist trends.
Oh, you've definitely seen them. While everyone is obsessing over the latest TV show, a new social media challenge, or some fashion craze, there's always someone who is just completely unfazed. It really makes you stop and wonder, why? Why don't they follow the crowd?
And this really illustrates that dynamic perfectly. On one side, you've got all the cultural buzz, the memes, the must-have gadgets, the inside jokes. And on the other side, there's that person who is completely, and often quite happily, outside of that whole conversation. So what's the real story here? Okay, let's start by tackling the most common assumption out there, the trend resistor stereotype. The very first question that probably pops into most of our heads is pretty simple. Are they just trying to be different?
And that one question opens the floodgates to a whole bunch of labels, doesn't it? We might assume they're just seeking attention, or maybe that they secretly feel superior to everyone else. We might call them a contrarian, someone who disagrees just for the sake of it. Or maybe we just write it all off as, it's just a phase. But what if it's none of those things?
Because the real psychology here goes so much deeper than simple rebellion. There's way more to this than what we see on the surface.
And here it is. This is the crucial point. The real reasons are internal. It's not about making some kind of statement to the world. It's about making a choice that aligns with their inner world. So let's actually take a look at the psychological blueprint. What are the core personality traits that really form the foundation for a nonconformist? A huge concept here is the need for uniqueness. Now, this isn't about rebellion. It's a fundamental human desire to see yourself as a distinct individual. For people high in this trait, adopting a mass trend can feel like a genuine threat to their sense of self. I mean, think of it like this. If everyone suddenly starts wearing that rare band t-shirt you've loved for years, it loses some of its personal meaning, right? For them, that feeling applies to almost everything. Their choices are a way of saying, this is me. And when me becomes everyone, it just loses its power.
Then you have high openness to experience. This is one of the big five, a core set of traits psychologists use to map out our personalities. People who score high on openness are just naturally curious, creative, and they're drawn to novelty. So by the time something becomes a mainstream trend, it might already feel a little too predictable for them. They're that friend who was listening to an obscure artist before they went viral. Not to be cool, but because their curiosity just naturally leads them away from the beaten path.
These personality traits, they all point to something even more profound: the drive for authenticity, the quest to live as your real self.
And this idea is captured perfectly here. Authenticity totally transforms the question from what are other people doing to who am I? It really is a daily practice of choosing what feels true to you, separate from what's popular, and that reinforces an internal sense of self that doesn't need any external validation.
So how does this actually work in practice? Well, think of it like an authenticity filter. First, a new trend emerges. Second, instead of just jumping on, the person runs a quick internal check. Does this resonate with my values and my identity? And third, the decision to adopt or ignore it is based entirely on that internal check, not on external pressure. This means their sense of style, their hobbies, their opinions, they're all built on a solid foundation of self-knowledge, not on the shifting sands of popularity.
So after looking at the stereotypes and diving into the deeper psychology, what does this all really mean? Let's tie it all together. So here are the key takeaways. First, and this is the most important one, it's not about rejecting the crowd, it's about validating the self. Second, those key psychological traits like the need for uniqueness and openness are huge drivers here. Third, the ultimate goal isn't just to be different, it's to build a stable and authentic identity. And finally, their compass is internal, not external. Simple as that. Which brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. The next time you're faced with a new trend, it's worth taking a moment to ask yourself this simple but pretty powerful question. Is this choice about the crowd, or is it about you?